What's going on, guys? Dan Watson, LearningCameras.com, and I've got the Lightstorm LS 1/2W, and I want to show you this LED light. So let's take a dive into this light and see what it is. This light is brand new, and so you're going to be able to get it. Actually, today is the first day it's going to be available. Now, one of the nice things about this design is it's extremely thin, less than an inch thick on that. 22 millimeters, I think, is the exact amount. You have a big heat sink on the back here, so there's no fans. Everything here is adjustable, and you do have a full metal build quality on here. So everything is very nice, very robust, and definitely feels like it would hold up over time. Now, another interesting aspect of this light is that none of the controls are actually in here, and that's why we're able to see such a thin design. And where they are is they're going to be out here in this breakout box that comes with it. And this is going to give you all of your controls, your LED options. One of the nice things about this, if you operate multiple of these lights, you can actually set them up to different channels, same thing you would do with normal flashes, and be able to control them independently from here. And also the included remote control, which actually does let you control each channel independently from here from one remote, which is really nice. So this is not just about one LED light. This is potentially replacing an entire system of lights and allowing you to run a system of lights in half the time that it would take with a traditional kind of setup, with each independent light having to control them and having no control over the channels and how we would operate those. So this kind of gives you the benefits of having a flash system, except in an LED light with that. You also have DMX in and out, so if you want to hook it up to a light board and control it from there, you can. All the connections are very, very, very high end, and nothing is going to pull out here. These are special connections on here. You also have a battery power here with the option of a V-mount or an Anton Bauer pack, or you can use a traditional power source. So I've got this plugged into AC right now, so plenty of options. So if you want to make this mobile and you have an Anton Bauer pack, or you can pick one up, you can actually power this light completely remotely. Now, one of the nice things about having this outside is that you can hook this up anywhere. It comes with this strap, and you can hook this up anywhere, add it to your light stand, and it really lowers the center of gravity, and it almost acts like a sandbag, so that you don't have that much weight up on top, and that most of that weight is going to be geared towards the bottom. So it definitely helps with balancing all of your lights, especially in a windy environment. You have a very small profile here, so that's certainly going to help. Now, another thing I like about having the controls down here is that sometimes if you have your light very high up or away and out of view, this is going to allow you to be able to control your light from down below. Now, it's kind of negated a little bit by the fact that we do have a very nice remote control. So really, I'm not too sure if the advantages are completely worth it. It means that the light can get into places that are normally impossible, and that you can have this. So I guess if you're working in some tight spaces and tight environments, but you still have to carry this around. It does take a little bit longer to pack up because it's not all in a single unit. You do have cables to worry about and making sure that you can keep those. So it's kind of hit and miss with me about whether I prefer it or not. It's nice to have a center of gravity a little bit lower, but since they include the remote control anyway, I don't know that I would have minded too much having it built into the light, as long as you do have that remote control access. So as far as everything goes, though, you actually, with the built-in bracket here, you can mount this on here, or you can actually flip it and mount it horizontally if you want to, and you do have full range of control over this. And like I said, it's all metal build quality, with the exception of this right here, but this is built out of very high quality plastic. This feels very secure as well. The connection is good. Overall, it's an excellent light. Now, I'm going to turn this off, and one thing is that the LED are actually strip LEDs, and that's going to give you a much greater throw as far as your angle of throw. So the beam angle on here is actually 120 degrees, so very wide throw. And the downside to that is that it doesn't look quite as finished as it would if you had a traditional type LED bulb. It looks like these strips could get damaged. They're very open to the environment. So that is the only thing I will say. They're not enclosed or anything like that, and you have no case that goes over here to protect these bulbs. Now, as far as diffusion, they do include a bunch of these diffusion sheets, and they say that they're excellent, and they worked very hard in getting a very good diffusion sheet for you to buy. I will say that installing these is a little less than ideal. They have these tabs up here, and you have to kind of get them in there. And I mean, once they're in, they kind of stay in there, but this is definitely not going to work outside if you have any wind. You're going to have to find some other method of diffusing this light if you just want some light diffusion on here. So you can get an umbrella bracket or something like that, but you're going to want some kind of modifier with this light if you want any diffusion, really, because this is not the best situation, I think, and it doesn't look as good. This is a little bit more flimsy. It does include a bunch of them, so if they rip, it's not a big deal because you do get them with it. So the LS1/2 has a CRI rating of 95, and so really you're going to get excellent color reproduction off of this. It's very true, even while dimming from minimum to maximum. The colors stayed very, very consistent and true. They say Kelvin is about 5,500 for this light. I found it looked a little bit better around that 5,200, 5,300 mark. So it came off just a tad to the yellows and oranges, but actually that's very good for skin tone. So it really worked better for that. Some of my other cheaper lights go a little bit magenta or a little bit blue, and both of those are very hard to pick out in post. So this is going to be much easier to get a nice balanced LED color source from this type of a light. So it worked really well for that. The other thing is because you're getting that 120-degree wide angle of throw, it's actually a much more flattering light than some of the other lights. Now you have 264 of these LED light beads in here. I must say it is very bright for a 264 LED light source. However, keep in mind that this is not going to give you the type of full power that you get from some of your larger lights. However, Aputure does have a light that gives you the full output that you would need from a bigger light source. So this is definitely a little bit smaller, a little bit more portable. It might be a little difficult to use as a key light. Going from 0 or from 10, which is the minimum on here, up to 100, definitely gives you a good amount of light for anything under 300 LEDs. But like I said, most of my lights are going to be between 600 to about 1,000 LEDs for my key lights. So that's the only thing to keep in mind, is this is not the one that's going to give you that kind of brightness. This particular model also didn't include any accessories like a barn door or anything like that. Once again, that seems to be a feature in the other 1K light that they have, and that's the LS1 if you want to take a look at that. This is a LS1/2, and this has a completely different type of pattern, completely different type of LED, and this is a little bit more geared to that wider throw, and so putting barn doors on it kind of probably defeats the purpose in that. But so, overall, you can't get this kind of quality light for 400 bucks just about anywhere else. So that's one of the big positives with it. And if you do need to control this off of a light board or a multi-channel lights, this is just a no-brainer purchase for me, because it's the only thing that's going to give you this kind of power, these kind of features in a design this small, and still get you under that $500 mark. You just won't find that anywhere else. Now, as far as LED lights in general, I love the thin, quiet design. The breakout box to me is kind of hit and miss on whether I prefer it to a different light source. But easily the nice thing is that this can pack down very quickly, and it's a pretty small design. I would say I wish I had some kind of plastic coating over the top of this or anything in front of these bulbs to kind of keep them from getting damaged in transit. Some of the little things on that keep it from being an easy light for me to work with if you don't need some of those extra features on there. So that's the only time I might recommend something else for you. Overall, you can't argue with the quality of light it's producing. The angle of throw, if you need something wider, it's amazing. The build quality on this also, you're not going to get a metal build quality with this amount of rugged steel and a quiet design like this. And once again, we can battery power this thing. So if you want to go mobile, you absolutely can. Once again, you do get the remote included with here. So if we do want to, let's try this out right here. I can turn off a light from here, turn it on, and I can dial this up or down. Dial it down right there, and let's dial it back up. And like I said, you do get plenty of power out of this light for a 260 LED light source. So again, check out any of the images that we had on there. You can look us up on Facebook, ask me any questions if I didn't mention anything that you want to know about this light. I highly recommend it. If those are not issues to you as far as diffusion paper and things like that, then this is an excellent light, and the quality of the light output, which is really one of the more important things from a light, is there. And so if you're going to be lighting people especially, or products even that need an accurate light source, it's probably the one I would recommend to buy. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for some extra videos.